Okay, so we are going to be continue working on section 3.3, and we're moving on to the next topic, which is increment decrement. And that's what we're talking today. So you have seen this, that we have used this before, and you're going to be using it. And you have seen that we have, and let me get my annotation pen in there. So doing the plus means adding one. So C++ coming from the C language. So C++ means C plus one. That's what it means. So it's going to increase the value by one. Now we can see that we can do this by itself in one line, or we can put it in expression. So we can have the number plus plus inside expression. Now, that's what we're going to spend talking about it. So what happens here, because the plus plus is on the right side, is going to use the value of number, then it's going to add one to it. So right now my number is 2. It's going to use that 2. It's going to multiply by 2. It's going to get 4. It's going to put the value 4 in value produced. And then it's going to go and add 1 to my number, which now my number becomes 3. So that's what's happening over here. So we have 2 ways of doing plus plus. One is called the post. So that means we're going to do it on the other right side, or we can do it pre, which is going to be on the left side. So if I do this, as I explained right now, if I do it on the other side, that means it's going to use it, then it's going to add 1 to it. But if I have plus plus number, that means it's going to add 1 to it, then it's going to use it. Of course, it doesn't matter which one you use. At the end, my number is increased by 1. So let's look at this. So I have, in this case, I have number plus plus. We just talked about it. So we are going to take the 2 that we have here. We're going to put it in this number. So that's 2. We're going to use it, we'll multiply by 2. That's going to give me 4. And then we're going to add 1 to the number. So the value of produced is 4, and then the number is 3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at the one that has plus plus before it. So now we're going to add 1 to it, then we're going to use it. In this case, if I add 1 to 2, that becomes 3, multiplied by 2, my result is going to be 6. Let me clear this. Okay, so putting it in a program. Remember, whenever we were using a while loop, we were doing set, check, change. We have to do that order, otherwise it wouldn't work. So in this case, I have my set over here, count equal 1. Of course, we could put it in our declaration. So we're going to set the count somewhere. So we have this set, and then we're going to use it in the while loop. So we're going to say check. Remember, the plus plus is after it. So it's not going to do anything. It's going to check first. Then it's going to change it with the plus plus. So we can put it together in one statement. My suggestion to you is not to get confused, especially at the beginning. Just decide which one you want to use, either the post or pre, or you want to use it on the right side or left side. And stick with that for now, and then you can change it if you need to. And that's going to make it easier to remember these things. You don't have to mix them up all the time to confuse yourself. So In here, it's going to do compare count with number of items. If it's less than or equal to that one, it's going to go inside. Then it's going to add 1 to it, and then it's going to compare again, and so on and so forth. So it's going to use it, and then it's going to add 1 to it. So my count is 1. My count is 1. It's going to come here. It says, okay, it's 1. Is 1 less than or equal number of items? Number of items, we read it from the user. So let's say it's 10 or something. So yes, it is. So the count is going to return a Boolean here to say the count is less than that. And then it's going to add 1 to it. Now my count becomes 2. So the next time around, it comes back, my count is 2, it's going to check the 2 against 10, and it says, yes, it's less than that, and then it's going to add 1 to it. So that's a little confusion over there, but with the practice, you're going to be okay. Okay, so we talked about this. Now we're going to go to the next page. We are talking about the decrement. So we have increment and decrement. So increment plus plus was adding 1. Decrement minus minus is going to deduct 1. So we have the same concept again. If we have minus minus to the right, it's going to use this number, then subtract it. If it's to the left, it's going to subtract 1 from the number, and then it's going to use it. So you can see the result. This is going to give me 8. My number is 8. It's going to use 8, put it here, then subtract it. In here, it's going to subtract it, then it's going to use it. So you can see that this one is 8, and this is 7. The last thing we want to talk about in this section is empty statement. We don't really need to worry about it that much, but if you have a semicolon in a line by itself, that compiles no error, but basically doesn't do anything. It's just an empty line in there. Okay, I'm going to stop right here.